Hello, hello, hello. Today I wanted to show you a sample of different lettering styles. And we see them around us every day. From the foods that we eat and athletic wear and from some of our favorite movies and animated characters. We see different lettering styles that are very distinguished from others. And so McDonald's has their golden arches. Their M is very recognizable. Even without the rest of the word, we know that M is for McDonald's. This Under Armour logo is made by two curves. One is for the U and the other one is for the A in this little part right here. So it's Under Armour. Under Armour. And of course, Disney. Who doesn't know that Disney D? So I wanted to show you some different lettering styles. While this might be a little too complicated for us with this D, I'm going to show you some that you could probably use or at least try to use for different lettering projects that you might have or styles you might want to try and experiment with. It's not as hard as you might think. So let me set this to the side and grab a piece of paper. Well, today my challenge is take one word and letter it. Use a different lettering style every time you write it. So the word I've chosen today is going to be art. Yes, art. So first, I'm going to show you the simplest way that I show students. I start by lightly drawing, neatly writing the word that I want to use. I've spaced the letters out in a way that gives me room to go back around them with a line all the way around. Now this line that I'm going around is not touching that pencil line that I drew. Simply going around. I'm trying to keep an equal distance away from that pencil line all the way around. Even in the center of that A. So you go around, and I call these bubble letters because have you ever seen those balloon animals that clowns make? This is what it reminds me of, those balloon animals. So balloon letters or bubble letters, what I call these. So when I'm done, I can go back and erase that pencil line, and voila. Now I have some letters that aren't just written with a pencil or written with a marker. They could be colored in and made fancy. I could do something like this and make it look like it's faded. So I start at the bottom with some lines that go across, and as I get up higher, I space them out more until I stop. So I put the lines close together and I space them out more until I stop. I try to make them all about the same, so put them close together and then start spacing them out as I go up and stop. Close together and space them out as I go up. Cool, right? Okay, sometimes when you use your lettering, you're going to use all capitals, and then there's other times when you can use all lowercase. So again, I'm going to do this word, but this time I'm going to do it using lowercase letters. And I'm going to do fancy. This looks like the lettering you might see typed in a book. Again, I'm going to go around it using my marker and trace around the pencil marks that I made all the way around. Even in the middle of a letter like A, this lowercase a has a round center. Sometimes if you're designing a poster, or I know sometimes students at my school, when they are running for SCA office, that's when I really see some really creative techniques come out. Of course, there's always somebody who prints all their lettering with a computer, but then there are those who will use their art materials and make their poster really unique. So that was a different way of writing the word art. Let me try a different style. Now this time I'm going to use my pencil again. I just feel more comfortable with that. This time I'm going to do cursive. And I'm writing really big. And this time when I write, I'm just going to go over it with my marker a few times to make the letters thicker. And I'm using the side of the marker. I'm holding it at an angle. So that's 3 different ways to write the word art. I'll show you a 4th way. This time I'm going to use a capital A and a lowercase r and a lowercase t. And I wrote them very lightly. Again, very, very lightly. And this time I'm going to use a shape, and I'm going to repeat that shape, and it's just a little circle. And I'm going along this pencil line that I drew. Now, if you wanted to, you could use hearts, stars, whatever suits your fancy. These look like little tiny pieces of candy, like one of those candy necklaces. Gosh, one of those wouldn't even fit over my head these days. It's just for kids, huh? So I use tiny dots, and then voila, I have the word art. Let's see, one more way. Is there another way I could do the word art? I'll write in lowercase again. A, R, and T. Sometimes you can use a line that is not perfectly straight. So I am going to add this like fuzzy line by just going back and forth with the marker. Gives it a more textured look. Right? That one's kind of fuzzy. Almost looks like grass with that color. That's a blue-green teal color. Okay. Let's do art again. But sometimes you can use your letters inside of a shape. So I'm going to use some shapes to do the letters. So I'm going to use a triangle, a circle, and a square. Whew, that barely fit. I'm going to start by tracing the shapes. And then I'm going to place the letters inside the shapes. I'll use red. There's the A. There's the R. And there's the T. Now, one thing that I like to do is I like to make sure that these markers have dried really good before I go back and erase. So if you noticed, I didn't erase right away. I'll go back and erase after everything is nice and dry. So on this first one that I did, I used the marker to make this go from light to dark, but with this one here, I'm going to show you how I do it with a crayon. So let me erase the pencil marks here before I start to color. I'm going to use crayons for this one because crayons for me allow you to blend colors better. Just does. Markers are so dark from the very start, but crayons you have to really color with them to make them darker. So I'll bring out my crayons and find some colors that I think will work good with this. Some different blues. Okay. I will start with the darkest color at the bottom. So I'm going to start at the very bottom of the letter, and I'm just going to make that area dark. About that much going all the way across on all three of them. So about to right there. I'm using the dark blue. And then to about right there on the A, I'm coloring with that dark blue. Good. I'm going to set this over here so I can remember I've already used that one. Let's see, blue-green, that's next. I'm going to add blue-green. About another third of the way up. And once I've done that, I'm going to come back with this blue and I'm going to color over the bottom part of it to make it seem like the two colors just blend together, almost like at a sunset. So I'm adding that blue in with just a little bit of that blue-green there to make the transition not so obvious, is where one color begins and another one ends. See, it's already coming into view. So this is the last color I'm going to use. It's a very light green. What is this called? Sea green. Ooh, I like it. And I'm putting the sea green right above the blue green. And then there won't be any more white spaces left. And then I'll take, oops, gotta remember where I put it. I take the blue green and I mix it with the sea green just at the bottom part. So you can barely tell where the blue green begins and the sea green starts, where the blue green ends and the sea green begins. So blue green mixed in with the sea green, and it makes a good transition. That's called the ombre technique. I've seen some beautiful shirts with that way of coloring, adding color in there. I mean, I could even come in here and add some color on these letters with crayon, even though I've already colored with marker. Any of these that have empty spaces can be then colored in with crayon, or maybe even with a lighter colored marker. So lettering is fun. Lettering, graphic artists use lettering for logos for businesses and products, and we can use lettering too, just like a graphic designer, an artist that uses letters to make art. I mean, this is a way to make different things fancy, to show your personality and show what you like. I had fun with you today. Art makes you smart, and it's always cool to be creative. And who knew there were so many different ways to write one word? And it's just interesting, isn't it? And I'm sure if I kept going, I'd fill all these small spaces with different ways to make the word art look nice. I had fun with you today. Come back and we'll do this again when you make art with Mrs. M.